I'm now joined by ICRC spokesperson Hashem Osseiran. Hashem, an absolute pleasure to have you in the studio there with me. We're just speaking to a doctor from Nasser Hospital within Gaza, explaining the situation. Things are extremely desperate, according to what we've just heard in the previous interview. But what is the humanitarian situation in Gaza right now? Earlier today, the president of the ICRC described it as hell on earth.
The humanitarian situation in Gaza today is beyond catastrophic. It is hell on earth, as the president described. It's just, you can't really find the words to describe the depth of desperation on the ground today. Civilians are struggling to survive hour by hour. They're struggling to find food. They're struggling to find water. They're also struggling to find a sense of safety and security.
And we see that when they go to some of these aid distributions sites. But you know, I just want you to be able to describe some of the stories you're hearing from civilians on the ground. As you say, it's hour by hour, it's almost day by day they're living. What do we know about these people?
So what we're hearing is, we're hearing that children are asking their mothers every day, what are we going to have to eat? The mothers don't know what to answer because there's so little food left. We're hearing from our colleagues who work in the community kitchens about long lines every single day, people desperate for food. We're hearing about the heartbreak that they experience at the end of the day, having to turn people away hungry. I heard from a colleague in Gaza that there are children who were born in this conflict, who have either died or will die before this conflict even ends. We're also hearing about massive displacement because of the evacuation orders. We're talking about elderly being pulled on stretchers. We're talking about women carrying their babies in their arms. They're walking around with plastic and sheets that they're using as shelter. To hear these testimonies from Gaza is really to confront the daily indignity that civilians are forced to face.
Absolutely, and it's so tough, isn't it? As you describe, it's for families and mothers just wanting to give their children the absolute basics, which they do deserve, as you said, under humanitarian law. Right now, when we look at Gaza, we know that aid isn't going to be coming in today through the foundation, but is there any other aid coming into Gaza, and is it enough? But what's really needed?
So the trickle of aid that we're seeing coming into Gaza right now is nowhere near enough. 1 truck, 2 trucks, 3 trucks, even 100 trucks a day is not going to be enough to meet the astronomical levels of need. People need food, people need water, people need medicine. But even beyond the basic supplies, you also need heavy machinery for the reconstruction and repair of water and sewage systems, to also repair medical facilities. So we need to also be able to provide the things so people can more than survive in Gaza. The level of needs are huge, and the only way we can begin to address these needs is through the unimpeded flow of aid. This aid needs to come in rapidly, and it needs to come in at scale.
And right now, what is the situation? Because I know that the Red Cross has a field hospital in Rafah. And how is that field hospital doing? What's the situation there? What are they dealing with?
So the field hospital over the past week has seen an unprecedented number of patients. We've never seen these numbers before. Just this week alone, so since May 27th, the field hospital has responded to at least 5 mass casualty incidents. Yesterday, the field hospital admitted more than 180 patients. 19 of them were declared dead on arrival. 8 others died of wounds shortly after. This is the largest influx of patients from a single incident since the field hospital was established in May 2024. These numbers are huge. To put it in context, the field hospital has 60 beds. So an influx of 180 plus patients is more than double the capacity of the hospital. That means there's not a single surface in the hospital that's not being used. Every bench, every chair, every stretcher is being used by a patient. Hospital staff are working tirelessly just to be able to respond to all of these needs. But there's also a strain on medical supplies because, as we know, for 11 weeks, no aid had entered Gaza, which means that existing stocks of medical supplies dwindled. And with the little aid that has come in, it's still going to take so much more time to shore up these stocks. And if the hospital continues to face repeated mass casualty incidents, the amount of existing stock is really at threat.
It's just such a dire situation that you explain, and especially for the staff on the ground and what they're having to deal with, and also the lack of aid and medical supplies getting into Gaza. Do you think that states are actually doing enough right now to end the war and really to protect the civilians that you're talking to me about?
As long as the conflict continues, and as long as civilians continue to suffer, there is more that can be done. We know from experience the benefit that a cessation of hostilities gives to the people. It means people can receive treatment. It means people can start to rebuild. It means families can be reunited. It means aid workers can respond to needs and move around safely. So it's very crucial that this hope returns to the people who have been stripped of any sense of hope since hostilities resumed.
Thank you so much for your insights and your thoughts. Very sad situation, and it was very interesting to hear what's happening on the ground right now. That's Hashem Osseiran. Thank you once again for joining me.